Hello, my name is Veronica and welcome into the Learning Lab. And in today's lab, I'd like to share with you some tags, tips, and techniques. So come on in and we'll get started. I was playing around with some tags and I just wanted to go through some little things that I did to help me to break a blank tag. And the ones I used for this were the market tags that I got from Tuesday Morning. Well, you can see that says 6/16, but every time they have some in the store, I pick them up and I buy them. So keeps me from having to cut them. Now, my first tip is that when you are working with a particular color palette, I would say stick to that palette because everything that you pull out is going to work well and cohesively. And that's what I did when I created these. Now, on these, I did quite a few that were in the purple hue. And I have some more, but two of them I didn't like, so I'm rethinking them. Now, I was also playing around just trying to get some different looks, variegated looks, ombre effects. What would happen if I splash water on it? Just embossing first and then going with the ink. And these, as you can see, are some that are left in my purple hue that when I'm going to create, I'll just pull out some of these colors or something that will be analogous or complementary to it. Doesn't always have to be complementary. You can go to the opposite side of the color wheel, but that helps me to know what to go and pull to do this. Now for these, I didn't need to have every ink color that comes in the color box. I actually used some of these. And if you remember these, I got them at the thrift store where I live. So I have the Kaleidacolor Desert Heat, and those are the colors, so I get a nice range there. Fresh Greens. This one is Spectrum. And then Autumn Leaf. Consider one of these rainbow pads because you don't have to buy all of these colors individually. They come together and you know that they're going to work very well together. Now, the other thing I love are these big and juicy pads. Don't know if they're still selling these, but if you see them, as a newbie or neophyte to this, I would suggest you get those, especially if you want to get into a lot of mixed media tag and card making. But this one is in Hydrangea, Mountain Meadow. This one is Vibrant Primary. I have Spice, which these colors are right up my alley. And then I have Soothing Sunset. And I did get mine from Joann. But if you look at this Spice and Autumn Leaves, those colors are really very similar in there. But again, this is going to give me a ton of color options. And I pushed down on here just so I can see what colors are where. And I can see that my reddish ones are down here, my green ones are down there. So when I'm going blind into this, I know what colors I'm using. Okay? Now, one other thing I used was some of this paper. And I was playing around with the alcohol ink technique, except I don't think I use alcohol inks. I think I used re-inkers on this. And it was with the shaving cream. So I just did pieces of paper. And if I go back to this one, that's what I used right behind there, was some of that paper. And again, if you know your color palette, you're going to, you know what to pull. Now, without further ado, let me quickly share with you how to break a blank tag. I'm going to purposely limit myself to the screen so we can see the range of it. Now, if you have a glass mat, great, use it. If you don't have a glass mat, but you have this Fiskars stamp press, remember that this little bottom piece pops out. And you can pop that out to use as a mat. My first big tip for you. Now, these are separated when you pull this. I can push it together to get my continuous green. But because of this, I'm only going to be able to go in so far on this. But, you know, it's no problem. I just go here. And because now I know the darkest one is here. This is going to show up very well. I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on that end, but I'm going to put a lot of pressure on this end. So when I put it down to do it, I'm really going to press at the bottom, give it a little wiggle, work my way over. And there I've got a nice ombre effect for my tag. So now my next thing, you can use plain water on this, but I wanted to put a little shimmer in mine. So I actually got a bottle and put some Perfect Pearls in there. So I'm going to shake it up and you can see them swirling around a little bit. And I'm just going to spritz this. And depending on how much water you add, of course, depends upon how much it moves. When you think you've got it where you want it, go in with your tag. Ooh, and I can see those yummy, perfect pearls in there. Wow, that's gorgeous. And there you are. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So I've still got more ink on here, and I'm going to move it around some. Now here's where you're really going to get some good variation going on, because I'm going to mix this up a little bit. Not going to waste that. And let's do it sideways and give it a little spin. Cool. And now I'm just going to continue to mop up my ink. Oh, I can see those lovely pearls in there. Beautiful. So now I have two. You can let these naturally air dry, or you can zap them with a heat gun. Either is fine. But since I have some other ones already made up, I'm going to skip this part and go straight to the ones that are already dry. So I have two tags here that we can play with. I think I'm going to play with this one. Let's play with that one. It's really saturated with color, and I absolutely love it. Now, the only other thing I did was I went around the edges with some of my Distress inks just to darken it up and give it a little oomph there. So now I need to start putting down some background on this. You can do whatever you like. For example, I have this, but this will give you a nice look on your background, stamping with whatever color ink you want. But I am partial to my black ink, so that's what we're going to use. And I love using my VersaFine. And then I don't want to get the whole thing. I'll just get there and maybe a little bit across the bottom there. And on top of this, I do want to use a stencil. And I went into pulled my stencils off the wall. So I kind of keep them like this, hanging on a rack in my craft room. And I've decided that I'm going to use this one for some paste. So let's take that one off. And then I was going through, trying to decide what I wanted to use and what I don't use all the time. This would be cute. Oh, if you haven't seen my video where I use this palm tree and this, yeah, you might want to see that. This would look nice. Let's see. Oh, I know the one I want, and I don't think it's on the ring. And no, it wasn't. It's this one. So let's use these two stencils on here. This one is the mini chicken wire, which I love. And then this one is Stencil Love, I guess. Anyway, we're going to use it. So to get started here, I think I'm going to go up in the corner and get some of this off. And I think I'm going to use some of this Hero Arts Ombre. Again, this is another one that you can use to get those colors. And because it's really small, I'm going to use the smallest of these toothbrush cosmetic brushes that I bought. Okay, bring you in some so you can see what I'm doing. And let's see here. So I've got the purple, greeny, blue. Let's go in here. Oh, that's the really blue one. Okay, we can do that. That's going to show up well. I'm not taping this down because it's just not that serious for me. I keep going in the green. It's okay, though. It's going to work. So now I have a little of that hanging out in the background on the corner. Okay, so let's for sure do some of the green. And I do like these little brushes because it allows me to get into an area and stay confined in that area. So basically I'm using what's underneath to be the contrast to what I'm putting on top. Let's see what we have here. Oh yeah, cute. I like that too. Now for this chicken wire, I'm going to use some of my Golden Light molding paste to do this. I absolutely love this stuff. So I turned the camera off, and I don't think you got me doing any of that at the bottom. I can't believe I did that. So I'm going to make it up, put some on another one. I am going to go kind of tonal on that. So I'm going to use this ombre pad again and let it meet in the middle. Most of it's going to get covered, so I'm not too concerned about where this is going to go. I just need some ink on this. Just need to put something down to start a background. Then I'm going to use this one. It's a 7 Gypsy stamp, and it's actually all the places that you can visit. I think I have a couple of these. But I'm going to put that in with some VersaFine black ink. And I'm not stamping the whole thing, just a little bit. So I'm just going to go over this to make sure it's dry. All right, looks pretty good. So now let's go back to my my Golden Light molding paste that I was using on this, and my palettes that came from the Dollar Tree. They sell them in a pack of 3, and they actually work very well. And again, using my chicken wire mask, I'm just gonna scoop out a little bit. I only want a small amount. And this time I think I'll do 2 different places. So I'll just go until whatever I pull out is gone. So how about if I come from this corner this time? Okay, got that. And a little on this corner over here, I think would be good. All right, and that's that. I don't want to wait for these to dry, so I'm going to go ahead and zap them with the heat gun, and then I'll come back to finish them. Since I have my heat gun out, I'm just going to go ahead and zap these just to take out any moisture that's in there. And when you're doing these, and if yours are starting to curl like this, just simply flip it over, heat the back, and it will flatten itself right back down. And you can actually, if you keep heating it, it's going to start to curl back up again, which is quite all right because now we know the trick for fixing it. We just turn it over, put some heat on the front side, flattens right back down. And by heating both sides, that's going to ensure that you've gotten out all of the moisture from there, especially if you're going to do any embossing with it. So let's go back to work on this one. And so you all know how much I love going into Dollar Tree. When I was in there today, they had these butterflies, which I've gotten before, but they didn't have these beautiful purples. So I think I'm going to put some purple butterflies on there. And I went into my hot off the press Bright Brad pack. And I think I'm going to use some purple and blue brads on here too. And then one other thing that I pulled out, which I don't know if I'm going to use, and it was some of these, which I could, you know, pop something right there in the center and put a butterfly in it, or put some of these on. But I think since I have this already raised up, I'm actually going to leave it alone. I also have these packs of flowers, that I can choose from in order to decorate those. Let's see what's in here. And since I already have this ombre up here, I'm going to go back to that. I'm using this little brush. Let's see what color we have. Oh, nice purple. I'm going to use this and go around the edge, just so I can take off some of that whiteness that was on there. Uh-oh, sorry. I am not in my normal crafting space, so trying to stay in focus and on the camera, challenging but not impossible. So I'm just going to blend some of that up onto here, so it's not so stark. There, kind of liking that a lot better. That looks good. Okay. All right, back to here. I think I like that. And I'm going to use one of my really large purple brads to anchor that into place. All right, so here, I'm going to put this brad in to here. Oh, I've got paste on my nail. I don't think they care. So now we have this to go here. Now, I probably could have used that brush and brushed some more purple onto the tips to deepen it a little bit. That's purple. Let's see what happens when we do that. It deepens it a little bit. Okay, I like that. Brings a little more of the color in, which I do. I like that now. And we're going to put some on the inside of here and brush that in. Oh yeah, now it makes it pop a little bit, so I like that. And the only thing I'm going to do is clean off that brad because it has a little bit of ink on it. Almost done, but I think I want to splatter like some splattery white up here. So let's do that. I am going to use some of my, this is Daler-Rowney Simply White Acrylic Paint. Oh, look at that. Got it at Tuesday morning. I'm just going to put a little bit on my mat. That should be enough for what I need. Because I love all things sparkly, I do have some plain water that I can mix in with it, but I think I'm going to go back to my Perfect Pearls water. And you can see the pearls floating down there. So I'm just going to give that a little wiggle and spritz that in here to make it watery. Let's protect the tag. Oh yeah, that looks good. Then I'm just going to take one of my brushes and just start to put some spots on here and there. Some will be covered. That's not my concern. And then I want to splatter some. A little bit of splatter on there. Uh-oh, getting it on my flower. Get off of there. Love it. I like that. Okay, now I'm here and I am in my creation mode and I don't like wasting. So I am going to go ahead and splatter some of my other tags. those have a little bit of interest going on them. So when I go back to create with them, I've already gotten a head start. Still a little watery. Yeah, let me go ahead and zap it with the heat gun because I want to keep going. What I want to do up here is probably put a butterfly coming this way. I'm not going to raise it up because it already has a little bit going for it. How about right there since it's stuck down? Yeah, you're going there. And then I'm going to put, you know, I was going to do brads, but I have these acrylic beads. They're like dewdrops and they're gorgeous. I think Kim, when she was running her store, sold these. She colored them herself. They actually come clear. They're dewdrops, and they actually come clear like this. They're little plastic resin beads, and then you can color them. And then, oh, Laura, she's a scrap addict. She's here on YouTube. She sent me some of hers during Christmas time, and hers were red and white, and they were gorgeous. So I was like, ooh, thank you, guys. Love them. So I think I might just add some of those dewdrops to it. I like that. Plus, I get that nice triangle thing going on here that centers your eye. So let's get those down. And I'm going to use some of my Martha Stewart craft glue that I like that. And there it is. We went from a blank white tag to this in a lickety-split amount of time. You can do the same thing for this one. Since my camera cut off and was doing its own thing, I do want to show you the last tag that I created. I went around the edges with some of my gilding polish from Sue Wilson, just to go over some of that chicken wire to make it more of a cohesive blend. And I did that also down here, and this is that bronze 3D embossing paste that I used. These are from Dollar Tree. I lost one of the little rhinestones here, so I used some of those plastic resin beads that I have. And this flower is Heartfelt Creations. Added some leaves, and that's it. I did not put a saying on this one. They don't always need it. So there's a blue one that I did, kind of lighthearted. And then here's a close-up of the purple one that I did. And this molding paste is so lightweight. It doesn't make this card heavy at all. I love the ethereal feel of this one. So those are the two that were created today. Same, but different. And then the ones that I created previously. Here you can see the molding paste that I used at the top. And on this one, that glittery butterfly. And this saying I just love. I think I picked these up at one of the Stampin' Scrapbook Expos that were in Chantilly. And these were simple for me, simply because a lot of these elements, especially the flowers, were already created. This is some embossing paste with the gold I rubbed over with my finger. Again, this piece of paper I'd already created. I used a white gel pen to go around just to make some design on it. And then this one just screams relaxation to me. The white dots on the flowers just makes it look fantastic. And these are tiny little buds that I created from the Heartfelt Creations flowers. Just gorgeous. And these are some of the Inkadinkado stamping gear stamps. I use those. And I just think these turned out lovely. This little inside are some beads that I ordered from offline on AliExpress. Again, I went around with a gel pen And that brings us to the end. As always, I want to thank you so much for joining me in the lab today. If you have not subscribed, please do so. And if you hit the notification button, you'll be notified every time I upload a video, which seems like once a month. But anyway, when I do, I'm hoping you're able to pick up any tips, tricks, or techniques that I have to offer. Please be sure to check out my blog at inkollusions.blogspot.com. Until then.